Hello, Karthik.
Oh, sir.
Hello, Karthik. Yes, sir. Okay, fine. So,
1 minute. I'll be ready.
can I start the session? Are you ready?
Yeah, almost 1 minute.
Okay. So, Karthik, I hope you understand each and every topic discussed in the previous session. Okay. So, before, if you have any doubt, just without any hesitation, you can raise that question. Okay. So, but before starting, just I want to recap the session once again. Actually, this is my channel, Karthik Hariom Defensive Technology. So I have a lot of projects, Arduino, IoT, etc. So you can visualize that one. Okay. So we are discussing the C++ basic. Means we are not entering now, still now in the OOP concept. Understand? Still I am, means it will take 1 week, means 1 to 2 week time to cover all the foundation parts of the C++. Only then we can jump in the OOP concept, because previously, means what I was thinking, already you know the C, okay, but you are lacking that one. That's why I have to spend much time here. It is essential. Okay, so once again, so what I have covered till now, means I discussed about the identifiers. Okay, so what is this one? Nothing but the name for anything, name for variable, name for array, string, class, objects, etc. What is white space? What new line, tab, space, etc. These are considered as the white space in the C++. What is primitive built-in types? Char, int, float, double, and also what a boolean and wchar. Okay, only 5 or 6 we have the built-in types, but we have so many data type. How we can create different data type, Karthik? Already
by using modifiers.
Yes. Okay, fine. You got the concept. So we have the type modifier already. What is benefit? Means using modifier you can create different data type. What are the modifiers, Karthik? Signed, only 4. Signed, unsigned, signed, unsigned, short, long. Okay. What is the size? Okay. Did you complete my tasks which I assigned you, Karthik, about the range for 32-bit, for 64-bit, etc.? Did you get that concepts mathematically?
Yeah, I wasn't able to do it, but I can do it right now.
Okay, don't escape, please. Okay, you should work on that one yourself. Okay. So then I discussed type diff. Once again, what is the purpose of type diff and what is the advantage? You tell me.
So let's say one is a signed long, unsigned long int num. We can use a type def to simplify that down to make it easy to write.
Yes, means what if you have this complicated data type? Okay, then you means we can provide the different name, short name, using the type diff. Now, what is enumerated keywords? Enum. What is the enum? What's the benefit?
The benefit of enum is that it helps to restrict like whatever it helps to restrict the value of the variable that we assign. Like let's say enum color brackets between blue.
Yes, means exactly, means we are providing information, means that variable should get only such data, only such information. Okay, because your integer variable takes negative number, positive number. Your character variable takes means A, B, C, D, etc. Lot of things. But using the enum, I can restrict that one. Okay, which we want. We can supply the information within the curly brace. Then we can use that one. Okay, fine. Next, basic types of variables already are discussed. Variable definition. How? So see here, what is variable? Means how you can declare variable, how you can define variable. There are two whatever, and what initialization of variable and assignment of the variable. I discussed in the yesterday's session, Karthik. What do you mean
Yeah.
by initialization statement, and what is the assignment statement?
The assignment statement is when we do int num, and then on new line we have num equal to some value. But an initialization statement as well is just int num, and then you automatically give the value that you want.
Yes.
This
See,
is like
at the time of declaration, you are supplying the data. You are supplying value. Got it? Okay. But assignment is different. You declared first, then later in the below statements means you are assigning the data. So that is called assignment statements. So in which case garbage value is stored by the operating system?
huh?
In which case either initialization or assignment, in which case garbage value is stored supplied by the operating system?
Assignment.
Assignment, yes, not initialization. Yes, because in the initialization, as a programmer, we supply the data. So it allocates memory, and that value which we wrote in the program, that is supplied. Okay, good. So you understood. Now today I'm discussing about the L value and R value. And again, once again, today is very important. Also we will discuss about a scope of the variable. Okay, very important concepts. So, but before starting the session, just did you watch that table, including all the data types with range and size?
Yes, I will listen.
Okay, that is important. So time to time, just watch that. Also, I have the last topic in this PPT, what the constants and the literals. So once again, what is the rule in the naming of the identifier, Karthik? Just you convince me for
First, to the start, you can't use a space. You can only use you can only use the capitals A through Z or lowercase a through Z, or you can use an
Yes.
underscore
Yes.
followed by capitals A through Z, lowercase a through Z or digits, but you
Okay.
cannot use a space or any other special characters.
Okay. Yes, except the underscore. And second point, you must not take the what starting character is the digit. The starting must not be the digit. Remember this point. Got my point? Suppose a 2 num, 3 num, a 4 num, these are invalid. But num2, num3, num4, these are valid. Got my point? Okay. Next, these are the built-in data types. Okay, Boolean, character, integer, floating, double, valueless, and white character. Now these are the modifiers: signed, unsigned, short, long. So once again, what is the restriction, and which type of restriction is associated with the particular one? For the signed, unsigned, where you can use the signed, unsigned, Karthik?
The signed and unsigned can be used for integer values.
Yes.
And they have to make the computer understand like if we wanted to only count in positives or include positives and negatives.
Yes. Okay. So you should never use signed, unsigned in case of the floating point. Remember, floating or double. Understand? Okay. And when, in which case you should use the long and short?
Short and long.
So,
Short should be used if short should be used when we want it. When we want it.
see here, Karthik, simple. In case of the integer, you can use all four. Yes.
Yeah.
Signed int, unsigned int, short int, long int. There is no confusion. But in case of float and double, means for the float, don't use any one. But for the double, you can use the long double. Remember this point. Understand my point? Okay. So, and what happens if you use the short long? So in case of short, size is reduced. In case of long, size is increased. Okay, fine. One more point. So it is clear when you have to use the unsigned modifier. I gave so much best example yesterday. Yes. Whenever you need the only positive information, you must use the unsigned. What benefit we will get? Range will be increased. Range will be increased. Okay, starting from 0 up to something. So that is the case. So obviously, Miss, Miss, I hope you got this table in the good fashion. Okay, Miss, so many overall, so many data type I have using the modifier, and Miss, this displays what with the size and with typical range. Okay, fine. Miss, when you can use the size of operator, what benefit?
Using time to allows us to lower the size of vectors even unsigned long. You can put
No,
the
size
number
of,
to-
no, Karthik, I am telling you size of. What is size of operator? When you should use?
We should use size of when we want to know the how many bytes a specific modifier uses. Like if we have
So in the size of within parentheses, which you should supply, which one you should provide, data type or variable or both? You tell me.
data type, right?
Not both either data type or variable, both you can supply.
So yes,
What my point? Understand?
yeah.
So don't forget. Suppose int num, I want to know the size of the num value. So we can supply num. So size of num, it drop what 4 bytes. Size of int. So either you can supply the data type as well as, or what variable name itself you can supply. Remember that point. Next one. So type already you understand. So enumerated data types, basic types of variables I discussed. So these are just repeated this one. Variable definition, how you can define, how you can declare, how you can assign, already I discussed. Initialization already we watched. So just look at this point. So some important points about that one. For definition without an initialization, so what happens? Variables with a static storage duration are implicitly initialized with null. Remember, if you use the static int num, so in this case, Karthik, your num is initialized by 0 or null. Remember this point. Without a static keyword, means some garbage value is stored by the operating system. Understand? Okay.
Yeah.
So initial value of all other values is undefined garbage value. In case of non-static, what garbage value? But in case of static, what either 0 or null. Got my point? If you again 2 points you have when 0 is assigned, when null is assigned. So in case of the pointer variable, null is assigned, but in case of the normal variable, 0 is assigned. In this time, you may have the confusion what is a pointer variable. So Mr. you have to wait if you don't know pointer, if you don't have any idea about the pointer. Okay, so you have to wait for that one. Got it? So what is the second point? A variable declaration has its meaning at the time of compilation only. So compiler needs actual variable definition at the time of linking of the program. Third points, what I have written, a variable declaration is useful when you are using multiple files. I discussed you. May suppose in your project you have 10 files, different files, file 1, file 2, file 3. And in the file number 10, you have some variable. In the file number 9, you have some variable. Now, you want to utilize such variable which you mentioned in the file number 9 and file number 10 in the first file, that is file number 1. Then you must use the extern keyword for that one. Again, I will repeat that one, that will come again. Okay, so this time just so now focus on what is the L values and R value. L stands for left, R for right. So some points I have here. So what is L value? It is the expressions that refer to a memory location that is called the L value expression. But so an L value may appear as either the left hand or right hand side of an assignment. But what is R value? The term R value refers to a data value that is stored at some address in memory. So R value is an expression that cannot have a value assigned to it, which means an R value may appear on the right but not left side of the cell. So see here, look at the example. Int G equals 20. So see here, it is right, but 10 equals to 10. This is wrong. Okay, you can't assign the 20 into the 10. Okay, so means in the left side, we must have the variable, but in the right hand side, either we have the variable or we have the data. Okay, anything we have in the RHS side. Okay, got it? Got this point, Karthik? What is L value? What is R value? Once again, L value always refers to the what a variable in the RAM, some location in the RAM. But R value, R value is what? this is the data, or also sometimes a variable also. Okay, so remember these points. So below is the wrong, but above is the right one. So variables are L values and so may appear on the left hand side of an assignment. Numeric literals are R values. What do you mean by literals? Literals is nothing but the constant. So it is the what a technical term used for the constant, Karthik. Okay, what is variable? So we have
what was that again?
just one. We have the two things: constant and variable. Constant, that is fixed. Variable is what? Means we have some location in the RAM. Got it? So that is varying. That is changing the state. Okay. So technically, you should use instead of the constant, which word? Literals. Literals. So again, we have the variety in the literals. Numerical literals. Literals. Yeah. Below in. Yes, numerical literals, character literals. I have just wait for that one. So numeric literals are R values and so may not be assigned and cannot appear on the left hand side. So you should be very careful. In the left hand side, you must not use what any constants, any type of constant. That is what any type of literals you must not use in the LHS side. Got it? Means in the LHS side, always you have to use which one? A variable, simple, only variable. Int g equals 20, it is right. Understand? You have confusion, Karthik? You have confusion? Okay. Now, so now, just look, this is very important concept, which means I have been waiting for this. What do you mean by a scope of the variable in the C++? So see here, means I define into three categories. So means three situations you have for the variable. So a scope is nothing but it is a region of the program, and broadly speaking, there are three places where variables can be declared. So we have the total three situations. So very first one, Karthik, inside a function or block, which is called the local variables. Second one, in the definition of function parameters, which is called the formal parameters. And third case, outside of any functions, which is called the global variables. Remember, means if you are defining any variable within the function or block, okay, that is called what? Local variable. If you are doing same activity but outside of that, that is called the global variable. But third case also we have, that is what? Within the function parameter. Do you have any idea about the function? Tell me frankly. Otherwise, I have to show in the notepad.
I have some answer, but could you just
just one. I'm showing you. Now see here, Miss, what is it? My add is the function. Okay, and here we have the parenthesis. Within the parenthesis, we have something like what? Int a comma int b. Okay, so a is b, a and b is what? This is also the variable. This time you don't know function, so also I have the chapter function in the C++. So you have to wait. But now this time, just try to understand, Karthik. So means a and b are the variables mentioned within the parentheses. So means what? This is not the case. What within the function you can't say what this one means not within a function. Okay, nor what outside function. Outside function. But what is this one?
Inside function.
What? Not, this is not the case. This is the example. If I'm writing here int, what suppose I'm writing num equals what suppose 8. So num is declared, okay, within the function. So this is the local variable. This is the local variable. Got my point? Suppose I'm taking another example here. After the function, I am writing what int. Suppose what my salary equals something. So what is this one? This is like what? Global.
Yeah.
But the above one, this is what? This is neither called local nor called what? Global. So A and B are declared within the what? It is called what? Parameters. Means within the function called parameters. Called parameters. Understand? So we have the three case, Karthik. Local variable, global variable, and parameters. So how you can define? If you are defining variable within function, that is called local variable. If you are defining any variable outside of the function, so that is called what? Global variable. If you are declaring variable within the parenthesis of the any function, so that is called what? Parameters. I hope it is clear for this time, Karthik. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Suppose I am writing here also in, suppose what here I'm taking n, simple n. Now you tell me, what do you mean by the n? What is the scope for this? This is
the
local or global? Yes,
global.
sure, fine, excellent. This is the global. So I hope this concept is clear. By yes. So we have once again we have the total three situations. Either you can define any variable within function, either you can define any variable outside function, or means you can define any variable within parenthesis of the function. Yes. So we have the three situations. So inside the function or block, that is called local variable. In the definition of function parameter, that is called formal parameters, and outside of all functions, that is called global variables. Now just look at this point. Means for the local variables, so what is the scope? You have to know a scope for each three cases, Karthik. A scope for the local variable, a scope for the global variable, and a scope for the parameter variable. Got my point? So just look at one by one. So local variable. So variables that are declared inside a function or block, that is called local variables. Yes, they can be used only by statements that are inside that function or block of code. Local variables are not known to functions outside their own. Means let me explain this one on the notepad. So see here, Karthik, if I am writing C out, what here I am printing now. So what happens? What is printed? What is the output here? Miss, now, Miss, but now you tell me, Miss, outside of this function, if I am writing that one, just now you tell me what happens here.
Error will come, right?
So you will get here error. Why you will get the error? Because Karthik, actually, because you declared the num variable within the function. Okay, so it is known only within the function. It is not known outside of the function. So this is the scope. Means scope of the num variable is fixed. What is that one? So that is known within only the function. Understand? It is clear, not? The scope of local variable is what? It is known only within that function in which it is declared. It is not known outside of that function. Clear? Not very simple or not, Karthik? Okay. Yes, you have doubt?
No.
Hello? Yes. Now what about yes?
I have no doubt.
Yes, tell me. You have doubt?
I have no doubt, sir.
Okay, fine. Now what about, so here I clearly mentioned local variables are not known to the functions outside their own. Now what about global variables? So global variables are defined outside of all the functions, usually on the top of the program. Okay, the global variables will hold their value throughout the lifetime of your program. Means until you terminate your program. So means local global variable has its meaning always. Got it? So there is a huge difference between local variable and global variable. And once again, you tell me local, what is the scope for local variable? It is known only within the function. What about the global variable? It is known throughout the program. Throughout the program. Understand? Throughout the whole program. Now, important, a program, but you apply common sense. If your project contains so many files, 10 files, 20 files, then just apply common sense. Then what is your idea about the global variable?
I don't think it will pass because it only.
So a program can have same name for the local and global variables, but value of local variables inside the function will take that is other things. So what happens? What I asked you some question. So what is your opinion? Apply common sense about the global variable if that variable is defined into different files.
Could you say that again? I don't understand. Like, are you asking what would happen if
what is the just a minute, Karthik. What is the scope of global variable? Means if that global variable is declared within in the 10th file.
Okay.
Suppose you have the project. In your project, you have so many files. Okay.
Yeah.
And different means on different web files, you have the global variable, you have the local variable. So what about the global variable, the scope of the global variable? So same answer, Karthik, remember, means a scope of a global variable defined within any file is throughout the program. When your program terminates, means a scope is destroyed. Remember these points. So I hope this concept is clear. Now coming on the what parameter variable. So what, just apply common sense. Means what should be the scope for the parameter variable?
Insert the function.
Just apply common sense. So which one is the parameter variable here? A and B. A and B are the parameter variable. So what should be the scope?
There should be the inside the function, right?
Right, you are right. Again, same like the what local variable means. It is also known within the function. It will never be known outside of the function. So answer is same like the local variable. So I hope this concept is clear. Okay. So what is the scope for local variable? What is the scope for global variable? And what is the scope for the what parameter variable? Now initializing local and global variables. So when a local variable is defined, it is already discussed in the previous session. It is not initialized by the system, but you must initialize it yourself. So global variables are initialized automatically by the system when you define them as follows. See here, Karthik. In case of the local variable, garbage value is assigned by the operating system. But in case of the global variable, there is no garbage value concept. Means OS put either 0 or none. Remember this point. But here from this table, try to understand in which case 0 is assigned and in which case null is assigned. So very clear concept here. So it depends on the data type, which data type is used. So if you have the int data type, then in int variable, what happens? 0 is assigned. If you have the character variable, what happens? Null \0. This is called null character. So that is assigned. If you have the float, 0 is assigned. If you have the double, 0 is assigned. But if you have the pointer variable, so null, null capital, this is defined. This is fixed. So null is assigned. So you have the 3 points to remember, Karthik. 0, \0, and what? Null. Understand? So, Mr. Once again, this is not for the local variable. This is for the what? Global variable. If you are not assigning some data to the global variable, so operating system put this information, sorry, don't say operating system, compiler put some information. Understand the points?
Yeah.
Or you have doubt? Okay. So, but yes, tell me if you have the doubt.
I don't have a doubt, sir.
Okay, fine. Now note, it is a good practice to initialize variables properly. Means whenever you declare any variable, so you must initialize some data. So it is the good practice for the programmer. Okay, don't let them left blank. Okay, otherwise because the system may assign either garbage value or something else like this from this table. Okay, now. So now coming on the new topic, means what do we mean by the constant? So as I told you, constant is nothing but the literal. Literal is the technical name. Okay. So we have so many literals in the C++. So constants refer to fixed values that the program may not alter, and they are called the literals. Okay. So constants can be any of the basic data types and can be divided into these one. So you may have the integer numerals, you may have the floating point numerals, you may have the characters literals, and you have the string, and also you have the Boolean values. Got my point? So these are the variety of the literals. Once again, integer literals, floating point literals, character literals, string literals, and Boolean values. So note again, constants are treated just like regular variables, except that their values cannot be modified after their definition. Simple things. Okay, now look at this example. So see here, this may be confused if you don't know digital computer organization. Okay, but try to understand these points. Means in the supplying data in the computer system, we have so many ways. Listen carefully, Karthik. I may have supply the decimal data. I may have supply binary data. I may have supply what octal data. I may have supplied another thing, hexadecimal. So we have so many variety, but you miss it is better to convince to the compiler that in which format you are supplying the data to the computer system. Got my point? Whether you are
Yeah.
supplying the normal decimal or hexadecimal format or octal format, etc. So you must mention, you must inform the compiler. So how you can inform? How compiler understand that? So this is the prefix, either 0x or 0 capital X. So this is the prefix for the hexadecimal. Means if you use such prefix before that data, suppose I'm taking the example 0x58. So what compiler will understand? Compiler will understand means you are supplying the information into the hexadecimal format, not into the decimal format. If you use the 0 prefix before that, then the compiler understands, system understands, means you are supplying the information in the octal system. Okay. If you are supplying means without any prefix, system understand means you are supplying the decimal format. Understand the points. Once again, let me show you on the notepad. This is important, so you must not confuse. Suppose here I have the variable int n. Okay, fine. Later, just now here n equals, I'm supplying n equals 10. Now you tell me, Miss, what does the compiler understands? Compiler knows means you are supplying decimal format, data in decimal format. Got it? Not this. You are supplying the data information in decimal format. It is clear. But now I'm taking another example. What happens here? If later I'm supplying n equals here what is 0x. Now I'm giving what 56. Now what happens? There is totally different, Karthik. Now again I'm taking n equals, yes, you know. Now I'm supplying what 45. Now you tell me. I hope you get the concept, Karthik. Yes or no?
Yes, the second one is asking for. The second one is in hexadecimal format. The third one is in octal format.
First one is the what normal decimal format. Second one is what? Hex format. Hex format, yes. And third one is what? Octal format. Got my point? Okay. Now just I'm trying it, just testing you. Now you tell me n equals, here I am giving what 0 and what 59. Now you tell me, what do you mean by such things? 059.
I don't think this is any of those because it can't be, it's not decimal. Hex format it's an octal, can only go up to 7, not 9.
Octal, but what is the problem here? What is the problem? Means this is the invalid.
Yeah.
Agree or not? This why it is invalid? Because 9 is not available in your octal system. So I hope you get this concept. Understand? So means this prefix plays very important role. Means when in the programming, in which format you want to supply the data to the computer system. Got my point? Now look at this example. Now you tell me again before taking this one more point. An integer literal can also have a suffix. In the previous, I have the prefix, this one. And for the integer literal, I have the suffix. That is a combination of U and L. For the unsigned and log. If you have the unsigned decimal data, so you can use the prefix capital U. If you have the long, then you can use the don't say prefix, suffix L. So remember this point also. So the suffix can be uppercase or lowercase or can be in any order. Now look at these examples. 212, it is legal or illegal? It is valid. 215U. Now, what is the difference between 212 and 215U? Karthik.
215U is unsigned.
Yes, no, again, yes, unsigned. But miss in the computer memory, what is the change if you are using U?
The range is changed from positive and negative to just positive, right?
See here, Karthik, I'm convincing you. In the memory, according to such statements, allocation is done. Got it or not?
Yeah.
Means allocation is done according to your statements. If you have the simple integer, means a short memory is allocated. If you have the suppose I'm taking the L. So what happens? Too much memory allocation is allocated, and that constant is put into that memory. Got my point? So this is the technical difference. Now look at the third one.
Sir, could you say that again? I'm going to understand.
Which one?
Could you say that again? I did not understand.
Okay, you don't understand this one. See here, Karthik, just now. Let me explain on the notepad. Suppose here, don't worry. Suppose I'm not talking about the variable. I'm talking about the constant. Suppose I'm using the constant simple 12. Okay, so what is the in the 12? Now here I'm taking 12 L, capital L. Okay, now look at the difference. Obviously, means both are stored into the memory in the RAM. Yes, in RAM. Okay, RAM. It is also in the RAM. But there is a huge difference between both styles. In case of the previous one, means what? A small amount of memory is allocated. A small memory. Remember this point. But in case of a long constant, what happens? Means a big memory is allocated. And that 12 is stored. Now, I hope it is clear, very simple, but you must know this one. So, because system due to the L, system understand this is the long data. So, it allocates too much space in the RAM and assign and store such constant into the. Got my point now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. So, same for the remaining things. Now, so now third one, 0xF double EL. Now you tell me, 0xF EEL. What do you mean by such thing?
This is
I use the prefix as well as the suffix also. Now you tell me, you convince me.
Okay.
I used in the third example a prefix as well as the suffix. What is the prefix? 0x. Okay, 0x. And what is the and what is the means the suffix L? And what is our data? What is our data?
FE, which is
FE. Now you tell me. Now you tell me. So very simple. Means what? It is the in which format? Hexadecimal format. Got my point? And which data? It is the FEE, and you know in the hexadecimal we have some information about the A, B, C, D, E, F. So A, B, C, D, E, F are the valid in the hexadecimal format. And A stands for what? You tell me. A stands for 10.
11.
Okay. So B for the 11, etc. You know. Now what about the L? L, it shows not means what our this information is what? Long. Got it? Not the normal integer. So I hope it is clear. Now what about the 078?
078, it's the octal, but it's illegal because it's not
illegal. Yes, excellent. Now what about this one? 032 UU?
It's illegal because it can't be the suffix.
Because here I mentioned the comment. It means it is repeating the suffix. So you should not repeat the suffix. Got it? My point? That's why it is illegal. So you will get the compile type error. Now what about this one? 85. It is a decimal number. 213. This is the octal data. 0x4b. This is the hexadecimal data. 30. This is the normal integer data. 30u. This is the unsigned integer. Okay. So I explained too much in the yesterday session. Unsigned and signed. Okay. Got my point? So in case of the 30, simple 30, what happens? Memory is allocated in such a way that means that memory portion can occupy either positive or negative number, either positive or negative data. But in case of 30U, means that memory is arranged in such a way that it can only store what? Positive constants. Got my point?
Yeah.
Understand? Okay. Now what about the 30L? Simple. Means 30 is the what? Long. 30UL, it is the unsigned long. Understood? So I hope Miss this concept is clear about the integer literals. So can I proceed, Karthik, on the
Yeah.
next? Okay, fine. Now, what about the floating point literals? Very simple. So a floating point literal has an integer part, also a decimal part, also a fractional part, and exponent part also. We can represent floating point literals either in the decimal form or exponential form. See here, you you observe, miss, we have the scientific notation. Okay, it means in the scientific notation, suppose, let me explain you on the notepad first. Means we have the two format to represent our data. So suppose I'm giving you one example, 55 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 like this. Like this. So see here, Karthik, this is tough to represent this one. So it is better to use the scientific notation for this. So I can write this like 5.5 what into 10 power what you have to count the zero. So 10 power. So
Yeah.
here I'm repeating E. How much?
Yeah.
Just a minute. 5.5. Did you count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, something else? Okay, so here, how many? Something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So here we can write what? 28, like this. Is it right or wrong? I think it is right. Not 28, 27, I think. So now you tell me, which one is the better to represent our data? First one or second one?
Second one.
Second one. So this is called the scientific notation. Means in the exponent form you can store. So if you have such information, so it is better to use the exponential form. Understand? So that is called the scientific notation. So here, so while representing using decimal form, you must include the decimal part, point, and exponent or both. And while representing using exponential form, you must include the integer part, the fractional part, or both. So for example, and for the exponent, Karthik, either you can use a small e or capital E. Okay, so now look at this point. So 3.14159, this is the illegal. Why it is illegal? And 3.14159e minus 5l, this is legal because minus 5 stands for how many 0? 5 0. But what means actually this is what a very smallest number, Karthik, means 10 power minus 5. It is nothing but the 10 power minus 5. Got my point? So you have the data like, yes, you have the data like what? 0.0315 like this. Okay, so it is legal. Now, what about 510e? It is illegal. Why? It is an incomplete exponent. Okay. See, very simple. If you are using the e, you must mention the power. That's all. Either power 1, 2, 3, or minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, etc. Got my point? If you don't have the power, so it is useless to mention the capital E or small e. That's why it is illegal. Now, what about this one? 210f? So illegal, no decimal or exponent. There is no decimal or exponent part. Okay. What about the last one? It is also the illegal. So you should be very careful. Got my point? So floating point literals. So how to represent the floating point literals? This is the way, Karthik. Next one, last one, I have the also Boolean literals. As I told you, Boolean variable contains only two data. Either it can have the true or it can have the false. Means you can say in short, the Boolean variable can store only two states, either true or false, either 0 or 1, either on or off, anything you can say. Okay, so they are two Boolean literals and they are part of standard C++ keywords. So value of true representing true and a value of false representing false. But most important points here, note bene, you should not consider the value of true equal to 1 and value of false equal to 0. So means we should not consider true as the 1 and false as the 0. Okay, so means this is a fixed in the library. True means what? TRUE, that is mentioned. False means that one. So don't associate with the integer data. Okay, so but overall, remember, Boolean literacy is what? It is something which can have only two states. Okay, either true or false. That's all. Okay. So I hope means you have okay one more.
Go back to floating point. I'd like to copy some something.
Sorry, Karthik.
Could you go back to the floating point slide?
Okay, yes, sure. Just one. This one, this one.
Yeah.
Are you writing?
Yeah.
Okay. So just first 2 points you can mention. A floating point literal has an integer part, also decimal part, also a fractional part, and you must have the exponent part. Okay. So we can represent floating point literals either in decimal form or exponential form. While representing using decimal form, you must include the decimal point, the exponent, or both, but not e. But in case of the exponential form, you must use the capital E or small e, and also you must include the integer part, the fractional part, or both. By the way, in which class you study, Karthik?
I'm going to 10th. Right now we have summer break.
Okay. 10th or 9th, 10th.
The 10th.
Okay. Completed this one, Karthik?
Almost. I'm just writing down a few examples.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I got them. Thank you.
Understand? Okay. Can I proceed?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So Boolean literals already very simple. Now just look at on the character literals. So character literals are enclosed in the single quotes. Remember, if the literal begins with L, uppercase only, it is a wide character literal, e.g. LX. So in this time means for you is don't focus on the L concept here. Just you should focus on the normal character literals and should be stored in, because you may be totally confused because I didn't teach you about the W character type. Okay, so otherwise it is a narrow character, that is easy. So see here A, B, C, etc. but within the single quote, so that is called what? Character literals, and can be stored in the simple variable of data type, char data type. So a character literal can be, so these are the examples: a plain character, X within single quotes, and skip sequence, \t within the single quote. No, so don't be confused. This is also called the character literal. And also we have universal character \u0 to c0. And also you don't focus on the last example. So in this time you should focus on the first and second one. Got my point? Okay.
Yeah.
So simple. We have the two things, character and string. We have the character literals, we have the string literals. In case of character literals, you can put only one character but within single quote. But in case of string literals, we may have group of characters placed within the double quotes. Remember these points. Once again, so first let me show on the notepad. Suppose I'm giving the example what within the single quotes here I'm writing H. Next, again, I'm writing capital H. Okay, a small h. Next, again, within this one, I'm writing a pipe. Again, sorry, Mr. That is Mr. Not. Actually, we have to use the what? Just what happens? Just wait. Fine. So see here, actually, Karthik, what do you mean by the ABC? This is not the character constant. This is the string constant. It is what?
String constant.
String. Don't say constant. What is the technical word?
String literal.
Literals. Yes. And what is this one?
That is a character literal.
Character literal. Yes. Good. What about this one? What about this one?
It's a string literal.
Yes, same string. What about this one? The below one?
Well,
This is character. This is integer.
it's a string literal. It's a four.
Yes. Yes. Good. What about this one?
That is an integer literal.
Not character. This is means what? Neither a character nor a string. But what is? But it is what? A simple integer. Integer literal. Got my point. So
Yeah.
what is the conclusion overall? If you put a single character, and what about this one? If I mention here GHJ. Now you tell me the first one.
It would not be a character literal. No,
So it is what?
not character literal, right?
Neither character
Character
Nor-
nor
nor a string. Got my point? So I hope you have the clear idea. So what is the conclusion? Only one character if you place within the single quote, that is the character and literals. Okay. If you have the group of characters means what? You may have the only one or more. Okay. Within the double quotes, that is called a string literals. Okay. And what a simple digits if you have without any single quotes or double quotes, that is the normal integer. So remember that one. So I hope you have the clear concept about this one.
Yeah.
Okay, no doubt. Okay.
Can we just finish writing that?
Which one? This one?
Like, yeah, this one.
Okay. So very simple. So character literals are included in the single quotes. If the literal begins with L, Mr. Don't write this one. You maybe this is out of scope for you. Okay. So you focus on this one. But in the future, when you become mature, then I can discuss such things. Your all escape sequence, which I discussed previously, \t/n. Okay, which comes into this category. Which one? Character literals. Remember these points. Means \n/t are also the constants. Which type of constant? Character constants. Completed, Karthik?
Yeah. Did you hear me, sir?
Done it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I take a new slide?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Karthik, done?
Yeah. Can you hear me, sir?
Hello?
Hello? Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Hello, am I audible? Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay, fine. So it is clear. Now, Mr. What just discussing about the escape. In the previous one, Mr. How many escape sequence I discussed? You tell me.
2. Hello?
Now, let me see here. I'm not able to hear you, Karthik. You can hear me? Hello, Karthik. Say something.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes. Now it is okay. There was some
Oh.
problem. Okay, there was some problem. Okay, so what is that one? Just a minute. Okay. Now discussing about the escape sequence. So in the previous means you are familiar about \t and \n. Yes, am I right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So what is the benefit for this one? When you should use such things?
They allow you to create tabs or use new lines without having to add space in your
Yes. When you are printing some information on your monitor screen, got it? Okay, means you are giving some look to your outputs, understand? Now it is time to understand the remaining escape sequences. So there are certain characters in C++ when they are preceded by backslash and they will have the special meaning. So see here, such must be preceded by the backslash. Okay, so for example, backslash and backslash t, etc. So these are called escape sequences. So and they are used to represent like new line and backslash c for the tab. Now, just but so this is, let's look at this table, Karthik. So this is the all escape sequences which you need to study. Okay, one by one. So first, backslash double backslash. So it stands for a simple backslash character. Suppose you want to paint simple backslash, what happens? Generally, it won't paint. But for printing that one, you must use the backslash before that one. Understand? So backslash comma. So printing the comma. Okay, backslash double quotes. So printing for the double. So just matter. You may have the confusion. So let me show you this one. Suppose if you are writing cout excellent cpp each. Now it means it is okay. Just some mistake here. What is the output for this one? Very simple, already you know.
Yeah.
What is the output? Yes. Now what happens if I want to print what like this cpp but within the double quotes? Okay, I want to print cpp but within the double quotes. I have the two situations, Karthik. I want to print simple cpp and I want to print cpp within double quote. So for this, it is the find cout just. It is the find cout, this one, and here what you are mentioning. Okay, cpp. Yes, it is okay or not? Just one. There's typing mistake. It is okay or not? For this, you will get. But for this, what is the solution? Means if you are writing like this, cout. So what is your opinion? So actually means you may goes like this. I have to write like this. So this is the wrong Karthik. You must not use such thing. So this is the invalid one. Understand?
Yes.
But that is my requirement. So what is the solution? So solution is what?
Using the
using that backslash. Yes. So that is the solution. Cout here. Just a minute. This one. Now you tell me. Now you tell me C just minute. Backslash. Then this one. Okay. And then what C, it is okay. P. Again, you have to use a backslash. Then this one. So try to understand. So this is the correct form. So I hope you can understand the concept of this one backslash. So what is the conclusion? When you face some problem like this, okay, means printing some special character, it is not generally allowing. Okay, So, but it is our requirement. So in that case, I must use the backslash before that character. Then it will print. Got my point? So what is the output for this? What is the output for this?
Into the CPP import.
Within double quotes. So this is the solution. So I hope this concept is clear now. Come into this table. So you can understand each and everything. So for printing the simple backslash, so you have to use double backslash. For printing single quotes, so you have to use like this, etc. So these are the backslash n, backslash t, etc. Backslash f is related to form feed. Backslash r for the carriage return, means what getting the new line. Backslash v for the vertical tab. We have two tabs, horizontal tab and vertical tab. Okay, so for the horizontal tab, you are using backslash t, but for the vertical tab, you can use backslash v. Okay, also we have the backspace. So backslash b, it is used for the backspace. So means your cursor will come just back. Got my point? So you can experiment all such step sequence in your program. If because you have already a small programming idea, so you can test each and everything, but you can't test for the backslash a. But you can check this one. If a speaker is connected to your system, then backslash a means what? Means you will hear some ringing. Okay, means you will hear some beep sound. Got my point? So I hope this is clear. Understand this chart? Okay. So means a few of them, not at all of them. Okay, few of them you can mention in your notepad, means as your notes. Okay, not all one. What is the last one? Backslash 000, octal number of 1 to 3 digits. Last one, backslash, it is for hexadecimal number of 1 or more digits. Okay.
Yes.
Don't at all, means a few as an example for the escape sequence. Means already in addition to a backslash t and backslash n, you can mention few or more. Okay, I am taking the next one. So now coming about the string literals, again just repeating, as I told you, for the character literals, you must put only single character but within single quotes. But in case of string literals, you may have group of characters but within the double quotes. So these are the examples for the string literals. Once again, string literals are included in double quotes. A string contains characters that are similar to character literals, plain characters, escape sequence, and universal characters. Once again, a string contains characters that are similar to character literals, plain characters, escape sequences, and universal characters. So note, you can break a long line into multiple lines using string literals and separate them using white spaces. Once example, all three are identical strings. So what is the first one, Karthik? Hello, comma, dear. So this is the first string, hello, dear. Yes. But in the second one, you can use also using the backslash at the end of the first line. So hello, comma, backslash, and in the next line, dear. So this is also similar to the first one, hello, dear. Okay. If you see here, if you have the lengthy information, then you can break that using backslash by putting the backslash at the end of that line. What happens? So second dear is actually treated as in the first line, hello, dear. Now look at the third one, hello, comma, what, d, and we have the what, ear. So what happens here? It is also the first one, hello, dear. Got my point? You can write the example. So all these three are the same string, okay, representing the hello, comma, dear. Can you explain me about the double quotes here in the third one? Can you explain me, or you have the still doubt? Don't put any type of doubt.
I think I understand. See, the double quotes work that in a way that you can you're just breaking it apart, but since string they add together what they have and they don't add any space on their own. And when you put them together side by side, and when they are
Yes, actually, first one, this one is for the space. Here we have the space, Karthik. What my point? That's why. Okay,
yeah,
and this is also just matter. I think there is some mistake, Karthik. Okay, there is some mistake. Means see here. Actually, there should be only one pair of the double quotes. Means second one it is invalid. I think I will check this one. I will correct this one. This is wrong. Actually, once again, means see here in the first one I have only one space here after the comma. After the comma and dear starts. Okay, so one space. So for the one space, just miss one pair of double quotes. Okay, so I will correct this one. So I hope,
okay.
Miss, you have.
So I think it's like that because after hello there's a comma, right?
Yes.
Comma there's a space, and after the space, then it is the first
Yes.
ending quote.
See, Karthik. Actually, third one, Miss, it is having some problem. I will check this one. I will correct this one. But second one, it is correct. First one, just consider the first and second one. Both are the same one. Remember, Miss, when you want to break, okay, into different lines, then you must use the backslash at the end of that line. Okay, remember that one. Got my point? Okay, don't consider in this time the third one. You may miss. I will check this one and I will correct this one. Okay, so you have idea about the constants overall. So defining constant. Now, how you can define constant? Remember, in the previous means you used what preprocessor directive has defined preprocessor. Remembering or not? Means that is the one type of constants. So there are two simple ways in C++ to define the constants. Which one? Means either using the hash defined preprocessor, and also we have the const keyword. So using the const keyword, you can also define the constant. So one by one, just look at this one. So using the hash defined preprocessor, so hash define is the keyword and identifier which name you want to supply and which value you want to assign for that. Okay, got it? So what is the second one? Using the const. So const type variable equals value. So means it is a good programming practice to define constants in capital. So for the constants, always you should mention in the capital letter, not a small letter. Remember this one. Got this one? How you can define the constants? In the two ways, using the const keyword and using the hash define. So hash define I already explained in the program. Yes or no? Remember
Yeah.
that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Using the const, what means just a minute. Let me take here. Suppose I'm writing sorry. Suppose I'm writing int num equals what 10, and this one. What happens in the future? Means num can take different data. Means num is not fixed. Num is the variable. It is going to change its value. But I don't want this. I want num should be fixed. Means num should not be varied at any cost. So what is the solution? Means we must mention here. What you tell me? You tell me. Just use the const keyword. CONST const keyword. Now after this, if you are trying to execute such code, num equals suppose 50, what happens? You will get the error here. Got my point? So this is also another way to what to design the constants. Understand, Karthik? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so it is done. Okay, so almost it is done, Karthik. So what is our our next agenda? Now see here, just a minute, because tomorrow there is no class, it is final.
Yeah. Tomorrow there is no class because I have
Okay.
only.
Okay, so miss what a day after tomorrow we have the Saturday. So I will take the miss. Can you attend on the Saturday?
1 minute. Let me ask.
Just confirm me on the Saturday and Sunday because there is gap.
Okay, just give me a second. I am about to
Yes,
ask
yes,
this.
yes. Just I'm waiting.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Karthik.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but we can't do a class this weekend. We're going out
Okay, okay. Means so class will be continued from final.
from Monday, I think. No, not Monday, Tuesday, I think.
Okay, 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 fine. So Miss, just so what should I do?
You
Okay, no
want to
problem.
try asking my father for clarification?
No problem. I will WhatsApp him. Okay, okay, okay,
Okay,
fine. So Karthik, I'm stopping the session here. So meeting you
okay,
in the next session. Okay, fine. Just
okay,
prepare.
okay.
Okay,
Have a good day, sir.
okay, fine.